Welcome, this is Alex from Tiny Launches. Now I will explain how the animations are added. There is a very easy way to do this. If you select this drop-in settings menu game object, you will see there is a funnybutton pool manager component attached to it. And this pool manager adds game objects to animate the visual elements based on the USS classes. When you go in play mode, a top object funnybutton pool will appear, and under this game object there are the game objects to animate the visual elements. So when you open the menu, and then there is this funny button, and this is the game object which animates the funny button. And if you go to the component, you may check this spool and animate the button. You see there is a scriptable object attached which defines the animations we will explain in a bit. First, I will show you how to add a visual element and get an animation on it. Open up the UI Builder. In here, I created an animated label, and over here is the funny button USS style, and you can drag this style on any visual element to let the pool manager create an animation game object. We will copy this name, save it. You may have multiple resources folders, or you may move this folder to another location if you want. And in this resources folder, Unity checks if there is an animation which has the field name plus the _FB_animation suffix in there. So we just duplicate one of these, and I will rename this to the name of the label and the suffix _FB_animation. And we will just have the animation scale checked here. And when we go in play mode, to the funny button pool, there is a game object for our animated label. And there is our animated label scriptable object attached. And when we check these, the label is animated. And in the scene, there is a funny button test capsule. We will just activate it. The funny button script works with transforms on this game object. As you see it now, it works also with red transforms if you have on canvas. And if you click on the scriptable object and go to the animation definition, you can set definitions for a scale, for a wobble, which is a turn action, and a move, and a circle animation. You see the circle animation is active. Capsule, there is a play animation bool we can check, and then it's doing the circle animation. You can change this animations in play mode if you want to have one more bounce of the circle. Then we have two circles. You saw the second circle was smaller. This is because you can have a scale to each of these bounces. This scale is 1.5. And if you have more bounces, it will scale down with every bounce. Just like this. Let's uncheck circle. We'll have the move animation active. So when we check this, we will have this one move with a bounce. And if you have no bounce on the move animation, set it to 0. It will not bounce back, so it will just move in one direction. So it moves and it moves and this moves. And you can also loop this So check this loop move box over here, then it just moves on. You saw it moved in a sine wave rhythm, so this is because we have a checkbox to move in a sine wave um, acceleration form, or if you uncheck it, it will move just linear. You can add an audio clip to the animation. When you check out the animation, there is an audio mixer group to choose. So we choose the sound effect, and we will have the wobble animation, and we will add an audio clip to the wobble animation. There's one short wiggle animation clip coming with the asset. And when we now start the project and we activate our animation, the jingle is playing. And the audio mixer is controlled by these audio controls. So this is controlled by the slider. Now we will check how to add funny button script by code. And if we have a look at the funny button pool manager script attached to the drop-in settings menu game object, there is a preset animation array. And it has one entry at the index 0, and there is a preset animation. And the way it works is that you can call a method and create a funny button script and then provide these index, and it will attach the scriptable object presets to the created game object with the funny button script to animate your visual element. So let's check out this preset animation. The preset animation has a scale animation set. And now we will bind it by script to a visual element. First, we remove the USS funny button class from the label we created. So go to the label, and there is this funny button class, and we remove it. It's called FB underscore test label. So save it, and we start the project just to see that there is no funny button game object created in the pool. So let's check out. There is none. And now we open up the UI manager. The UI manager is a script where you can modify the code to add your callbacks. And there is this init UI manager method, which is called from the abstract class in start. And I prepared these 2 lines of code. And first we are looking up our element by the name. It was called FB underscore test label. And when we have done it, we can create a pool object for our test object, and we can pass the index of the preset animation we want to be added. So we save this, and let's start the project to see if it's working. And within the pool, there is our test label object. The animation I prepared for this is a scale animation, and you see it has no bounds, so it just scales any further with every click. And what we can do with this is we can have functions for hover and hover leave. So back to the UI manager, I created a callback which has the prefix on. Then there is the name of the label, and then there is the callback function suffix. So there's one for the hover callback and one for the hover leave callback. And in order to be called, you have to added to the localization asset I will show you in a moment. What we are doing in here is we get a field name by the name of the method, which is obviously the same, otherwise would not be called. And with this, we look up the visual element. And with the visual element, we can look up the funny button script from the funny button pool and animate it. And the animate function has a inverse parameter. And if you put true in here, it inverses the animation. So we had a scale out, and in the inversion, we have a scale in. So on hover callback, it scales out, and if we leave, it scales back again. We can optimize this even further, because we can use this get or create funny button from pool function in the callback, not to need any reference anywhere else. We just take this and we replace the function, and we have our element over here. So we reference this to this element. And then we take this and copy it down here. And of course, we have to reverse it. And we do not need any initialization at all. We fetch the field name from the method name, get our script, and call the animation. So save it. Have a quick check to the localization table. And as I mentioned, the field names with the suffixes in here. So we have the hover callback and we have the hover leave callback. Put none in here. This is a keyword, not to give you warnings that these are empty, and they are ignored by the logic of the menu. So let's check it out. So now when we hover over the label, it's scaled up, and if we leave, it scales down again. That's the way these animated tabs are working. You can check it out in the code. It's coming with the asset in the newest version. So you can have these elements which are in these tabs right now. Would be no problem to redesign them into these tabs. They are popping up right here. And there is a bit of explanation if you do not want these or how to work with these. Now we will have a look at the animated child object. We have this animate child button in the demo scene, and when you click on it, the child will show up. And if you click again, they will hide again. And you can also hover over the child. And if you leave, they will disappear. As you already know, there are the functions called by the names over the localization table. So first check this. There is this central button, animated child's button, and then there is a child container 1 and child container 2 with a hover leave callback. That's all. And let's have a look to the UI builder, how it's done. Under the desktop element, you have this animated child's example. And in there is this center element. The center element is the point where the child elements are shrinked in, where they move to. Then you have these child elements, and here is the button to control the child. The button is at the bottom of the list to be over the elements when they are moved under the button, so the elements are not covering the button. And this is made in a way that you can just copy these and call this animated child container 3. And we will move this around a bit, not to cover the other container up. We'll give it another name so we can identify this easily. So this contains 3. Let's save it. And you can see how it looks because you are building the point where it is animated to in the inspector. And when you go in play mode, the positions will be remembered and they are moved under the button at the start of the UI. And then they are animated out again. The order they are animated is the order in the UI builder. So this is animated first, this is second, and this is third. And if you want to change the animation order, so just drag this up, save it, and let's check. And now the order is changed. So this is very easy to adapt. And that's the way all the stuff is built, so you can easily adapt it to what you need. Check out the documentation. I put a lot of effort in it, and I hope you enjoy this asset. Thank you.